Hi, good morning. We are in a new episode of Píldora Naranja. We are Satoshi Tin and we are joined by Arnold today. He is a
Hello.
Bitcoin educator, community builder, and even co founder of Blood Hunters and a member of my first Bitcoin team. Welcome, Arnold. How are you today?
Thank you very much. That's a great introduction. Doing great. Looking forward to this chat about the Bitcoin education. Nice to meet
Nice,
you.
nice to meet you. In what part of the world are you in this moment?
Right now I'm in Egypt, so
Ah,
been here for a couple of weeks, residing close to the Red Sea. Before this, I was a couple of weeks in Kenya. We had our unconference there at my first Bitcoin. We had an event with a lot of Bitcoin education, but yeah, now that's over. I'm spending time in Egypt.
nice. So you are around the world.
A digital nomad, yes.
Amazing. So Arnold, we had seen that your journey with Bitcoin started several years ago. So tell me how you started in this ecosystem and about Bitcoin.
Right. Yeah, that's been quite a while ago now. It started around 2016, so almost 10 years ago.
Wow.
2017, during my studies, I was studying product design. So I wanted to become an inventor, a designer. And during my university time, I talked about crypto and Bitcoin with my coworkers, my classmates. And as I was doing that, I started to dive more into it. And I'm from the Netherlands, I'm Dutch. And then there was not much that you could read about Bitcoin in Dutch because it's like a small language. So then I started to do some copywriting, writing articles online about Bitcoin, about crypto. And that was during my study. And then in 2019, 2018, I went half a year abroad. So I stopped my job in the Netherlands to study in Asia. And then I continued doing my Bitcoin hobby there. So it slowly became my side job, and it became my full-time job when I graduated. So I was doing a lot of copywriting, articles, journalism, and then over time, more and more traveling at the same time. So I became a digital nomad, reporting about Bitcoin in the world. And yeah, at some point, I came in touch with my first Bitcoin in El Salvador when I visited there. And now I've been with the team for a couple of years already.
Wow. So you've been in all areas, I can tell, and even you are in these ecosystems around 10 years, you tell me, right?
Almost. Yes,
Wow.
in the beginning, it was like 1, 2 years also in crypto, but everyone is learning. So then after a while, it was like 8 years ago, Bitcoin only, nothing else. So yeah, started to do Bitcoin only reporting, making like a magazine and a documentary about adoption, writing articles about like circular economies and local adoption worldwide. Yeah, Bitcoin only ever since.
Okay, amazing. So you had worked in different areas of the ecosystem. So why did you decide to focus in education? At what role do you think in place in Bitcoin adoption?
So I think it became very natural. Like first, I was a student, right? I was learning. I was trying to find answers. I couldn't find much in Dutch, so I started to write a lot of articles. So that was my own journey, right? I had to learn myself. So I learned a lot as a copywriter and writing and researching. And as I was doing that, I noticed you become more an expert and people have a lot of questions. So then you start to do education very small. That was before my first Bitcoin, but I made my own little book. I translated a couple of books to Dutch, like the Bitcoin Standard, Fiat Standard, Price of Tomorrow, Thank God for Bitcoin. So then you start to create more and more resources. And at some point, uh, yeah, you start to notice that like it is so early. There are so many people have no idea about Bitcoin, and if they know something about this, they know the wrong thing. So if people don't know, and if they know a little bit, they know the wrong things. It's speculation. It's bad for the environment. It's not used as money, etc. So yeah, then the natural answer is if this is so cool and it's the most interesting thing for me, then I should talk about it and become an educator. And then you become an educator yourself, and then you're like, I cannot change every community, right? So what we need to do is to help educators to do what I think is important. So that is eventually what my first Bitcoin is doing, and why I ended up there as well, is to empower other educators to become the teachers. So yeah, it is a little bit step from step. Like first you learn, then you become a teacher, and then you try to support other teachers.
Yes, the people need to learn about Bitcoin in this way for can understand better how it work, right? So you tell me that you are the part of the team of my first Bitcoin. So you work with educators and community in different parts of the world. So tell me what has surprised you the most about this experience with the different people in the world and even with educators.
hmm That's an interesting question. Yes. So maybe first, my first Bitcoin, what we do is we make open source educational resources. So the intro to Bitcoin course, the Bitcoin diploma, Bitcoin for juniors. We have the training program. We have a lot of different things for everyone. PowerPoint slides, PDFs, audio books, video courses. And then that is what the team is making. And what my role is to bring this into the hands of educators, like you say, communities. And what I learned over time, well, so right now there's around 90 projects that we try to support, that teach the diploma, that teach the intro course. I focus mainly on the ones in Africa, the US, Europe, but we also have many in Latin America, also a handful in Asia. And what I learned from that is that every situation is different. There is not like one way to educate your community. Like how you do it in Colombia is very different than how I would do it in the Netherlands. It's very different from how people do it in Nigeria or in South Africa or Indonesia. So it is very important that you know your local needs, that you speak the language of your people, that you adapt the resources to the context of where you are, which can be in a lot of different ways.
Yes, that is amazing. And I can see that around the world, with my first Bitcoin, the people want to have a diploma for they can even have the education for the rest of the world. So that is amazing and incredible the work that you do with the people around the world. So even you are a co-founder of Blood Hunters, how did the idea of teaching Bitcoin through a board game come about? So tell me about this idea, how you building,
So
because
it
this
comes
is
from the same point. It is about education. How can you make difficult concepts easy, right? And some people learn watching a podcast, listening a podcast. Some learn watching a documentary. Some read a book. Some people need to have something in their hands. So that, like for example, a concept of mining can be very difficult. But if you can make it something like a raffle and you have it like a number that you need to have, then it makes it very accessible and approachable. And the same as a private key, you need something to keep it secret, right? That is something you need to play with. So that's I think a very important part of education in general, is how can we, like I said, not only tweak it to the local needs, but also make it accessible with the ways people learn. It's the same with, for example, Bitcoin for Juniors. That is a new workbook that we launched at my first Bitcoin. You don't need any book, you don't need any slides. You need to experience it with each other. You need to talk about these concepts like storytelling. You need to have something to play with, like some to run around in the classroom, to have something in your hands. And I think that is something very important for Bitcoin education.
Yes, for me it's amazing because the people learn in different ways. So even they can see the material in the hands is amazing because it's a simple way how they can learn even about this ecosystem. So that idea about that you create is for me is special and amazing. So now we will talk about no networking, right? So what it is
Mhm.
important for you, this no networking and for Bitcoin education.
Right. Yeah. So the first step at my first Bitcoin was we are the teachers. So we made the Bitcoin diploma, we open source it. Then the second step was make sure that other teachers can learn from us. So we are empowering educators so they can learn from my first Bitcoin. And now we have suddenly have a network of people that do the exact same thing. Like you do it in Colombia, others do it in, like I said, South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, everywhere. And then the third step is how can we learn from each other? Because we may be the first ones, but we're not the best one. You're the best in teaching in your community on the ground. So what we do with the Node network, or we call it right now the education network, is we bring educators into a network together, into calls, into meetings, into chats, into the same room, so they can learn from each other and share best practices and inspire each other. Because sometimes it feels like you're the only one doing this, right? Bitcoin is still very small. You're the only project in your town, in your village, sometimes even in your country that is doing Bitcoin education. And you feel like you're the only one and you don't know, you lose maybe motivation or you want to learn from other people. So that's what we try to do with the education network. We bring people together with the same goals. It's Bitcoin only, independent, impartial. You focus on your community, high quality education. And it's not about trading or getting rich, but it's more about like using it for agency in your life. So everyone who is in line with that, they can join the education network, teach a diploma, and then you can also learn from each other. So if let's say I teach or you teach chapter 6 tomorrow in Spanish, there's going to be 10, 15, 20 people that know how to teach chapter 6 in Spanish. So you can help each other out. You can help each other with an online class. You can share PowerPoint slides. You can share answers to questions like, how do I find my students? How do I do fundraising? How do I, where do I find the right resource for what I need? How can I use AI more? All these questions, you're not the only one trying to answer this. Everyone else that's doing the same as you, and you can learn from that. So that's what we try to do with the education node network.
Yeah, so for you, in your experience, like a teacher, you need to know what exactly the people need for you can know how you teaching them, right? So even you tell me something like that you even teach the kids, the juniors, and even adult people. So that's interesting because for every single person is different. So it's
Yeah.
amazing.
And some of the
So
people in the network teach for juniors. So there's a little subgroup of 10 that can help each other out. Some people teach online, they can help each other out with online tools. Some people teach in Spanish, some in English. So you have always little groups in the network where you can learn from or connect or just be inspired and be encouraged.
yes, even it's amazing that even the kids can enter in these eco scenes for they can even know about everything, and then when they are adult they can know how work about it and how can use it in their life, right? So that is, so if someone want to start a Bitcoin education initiative in their city, what advice would you give to them?
Oh, so the first answer is just start, just do it. A lot of people want to do it, but they're waiting for permission. They're waiting for the right moment, the right time. And the right day is today, and the right moment is to start, even if you're alone. So that's the first thing. Don't wait for anyone else. The second thing is look for things that make it easy to get started. So we have all the resources, the PowerPoint slides, the workbook. Maybe you need more confidence. Like, how do I teach? We have the educator training program that you can take, right? So we try to make it easy for you to get started. It's all for free. It's all open source. We are a non-profit at My First Bitcoin. And if only a little bit is useful to you, take a little bit. If everything is useful, take everything. It's up to you. And then I would say start very small. Start with 5 students, 10 students, maybe your parents, your friends, and your neighbors. And then you go through the intro course, you go through the diploma as a teacher, and you have fun. You learn how it is to teach, how to explain concepts. And then when you finish, you're like, okay, all my students, my family, my friend, my neighbors, bring me 2 more people, all of you. And now you have a new group with people you don't know about, and you can start teaching again. And then the next step is to grow your team, right? Because you cannot do it on your own all the time. So maybe some of your neighbors or your friends or your students, they can join you, helping you. So you send them to the training program that we can do. You join the network, so you learn from each other, and then you grow out your team and your cohorts a little bit over time. But the first step is just get started. Don't wait for permission.
Yes, the time is now. So all of these people that listen us, the time is now for can start about the education in this ecosystem. And even us, like Satoshi team, we had a diploma with my first Bitcoin even. And for me, the education was incredible because I learned many things. The teacher teach every single thing, even with details. So it's amazing how my first Bitcoin did all of this program for the new people, even the people that doesn't know about the ecosystem, right? So before we finish, what advice would you give to someone who is just starting their Bitcoin journey today?
What my advice is for people that start?
Yes, the people that want enter in this ecosystem.
So the first answer is that you never stop learning. If you finish the intro course, there is more. If you finish the diploma, there is more. If you finish the podcast, there is more. I'm still learning, even though I'm already 10 years into Bitcoin, and there's always something else. And you just said that you learned a lot from the diploma, and maybe it's good to explain that it's not only about Bitcoin. It's also about monetary history. It's about currencies. It's about technology. It's about cypherpunks, right? The whole diploma, what you can learn, has so many different parts that maybe you never thought were interesting. But when I learned about Bitcoin, I learned a lot about, for example, banks and payments. I had no idea about central banks. I never cared about what is a euro, right? So I learned about that. I was super interested in the history before Bitcoin. So there's so many things that you can learn, and maybe you're not interested in economics, focus on technology. If you're not interested in technology, focus on philosophy. If you're not interested in philosophy, focus on sociological things. If you don't like that, look into the culture. There are so many elements of it that you can learn. And then all in all, that's what we call the Bitcoin rabbit hole. There is so much to learn. So that is my answer to people that start learning, is don't think that you finished after a small course, or when you are trading that you think this is Bitcoin. It's not about trading. It's about much more.
Yes. Thank you for the all information that you just give us. All people now can know that you are a teacher from my first Bitcoin, so even they can enjoy the program, for they can have this diploma, right? So now we go with the public. So we will start with the questions that the public had for you. So let's start. Okay, we start with Sara Estrada. How much do you think Bitcoin will cost in December? You think price will be higher, smaller, or may be lower?
I personally don't care about the price. I understand that it's great to have the price go up, but in December, what is that, 6 months? I think it will go up, but if it doesn't go up, I don't care, right? For me, how I explain it, I don't have Bitcoin to have more dollars or to have more peso or to have more euros. I have Bitcoin to have less peso, less dollar, less euro. That means that for me, Bitcoin is not the way to go back to the old system, but it's something new that I stay in. So I'm not going to sell when the price is high. I'm not going to sell when the price is low. I just keep using it as much as I can. And it's not about trading, but it's about like being ready for the new system. So if we all keep educating, people really understand it, then the price is going up. And I think the world needs Bitcoin, and the old system of fiat is not going to stay around for 100 more years. So maybe it goes up, maybe it goes down, but I don't care, because I know in 5 years it will be up, and that's the time period that I'm looking at. I'm not looking at tomorrow. But this is something that Bitcoin teaches as well. Maybe you've heard about this in the diploma. It's the time preference. Zoom out, think about long term, and then everything, it's kind of changing how you look at things.
So the time is now. Don't wait for.
Exactly.
Okay, we have another question. This is from Daniel. Why do you think Bitcoin is attracting so much? I can read good because the questions is
Tension in developing countries. Yes, I
okay.
see the
Why do you
question.
think Bitcoin is attracting so much attention in developing countries?
So I think before you need to understand something, you first need to know about the problem. And I'm from the Netherlands. I can do payments in 1 second, and the euro is quite stable. And my bank account is likely not going to be closed if I say something bad on the internet. Even though things are changing in Europe as well, generally it is stable, right? I think in a lot of places in developing countries, Bitcoin is easier to be a better alternative. If you have 50% inflation compared to 5, then it's interesting to look at a different currency. If you cannot get a bank account because you need an identity card and you cannot get it for whatever reason, then it's easier to look at Bitcoin. Or if you are in like places where you're going to be censored, or it's going to be your wealth is taken away if you say something bad, then you start to look at Bitcoin. So I think a lot of developing countries benefit more from Bitcoin than people in the West, maybe, or in the US and Europe, or more developed places, which I think is great, because this is the places that can embrace it first are going to benefit most. And it's actually going to swap things around, because I think the US has the dollar, strongest currency in the world. They have the most to lose as well. So it means that the ones that have the most power on money and payments are going to be losing the most, and the people that need Bitcoin are going to be winning the most. So that's what I would say. But there are so many different stories for why people would use Bitcoin in developing countries. I just give 3 examples, but it can be, a lot of different. It can be much more.
So all people that had Bitcoin in the end will be the winners in the future, right?
I believe so.
Yes, I believe so too. Okay, continue with the next question of the public. This is from Samantha Londoño. Have you seen any stories where Bitcoin education truly changed someone's life?
Yes, first of all, my own. Like you really start to look at a lot of things differently. I think everyone that I speak to that has been in Bitcoin for a long time, they look different at things, whether it's politics or decisions that you make, or people that disagree with each other. But very often the root problem is the money. And then it's like, okay, you're only angry because the houses are expensive, but it's not because of your neighbor or because of whoever. It's because the money system is broken. So that's something that I see myself. You start to look at things different. But in other places, um, stories where Bitcoin education changed someone's life. Can I give you a good example? Well, sometimes it's even like seeing that some barriers are gone. Like out of a sudden, you are allowed to have digital property. In some places, it's difficult. The first time that you can do a digital payment, the first time that as a woman you can own money in some places of the world, it's difficult. It's just taking away this mental barrier that starts to show you, is like, wait, I am allowed to do so much more than I thought. So it's more like the mindset than getting rich tomorrow, or feeling that you are wealthy, or you can buy a Rolex or a Lamborghini. That's what a lot of people think about it. But it's like allowing yourself to think long term, that your wealth is not going to be eroded. You can start to plan for your future better. And if you can plan for your future better, you make different decisions. And now it starts to become whatever that decision is that you change for longer term decision. Yeah, that changes your life. But it starts with the mindset.
Yes, it's amazing, even because I agree with the things that you say, because the Bitcoin is, you need to understand like a long term, right? So if you understand how work, and even if you learn that is in long term, can change your life, even change my life, because I am in this ecosystem about 8 years ago. So I know
Mhm.
how that changed even my life. So it's
I
amazing.
can give
So
maybe s- some better examples because this was very philosophical, like a lot of philosophy. But every time when I talk to Bitcoiners, maybe like yourself, 8 years for me as well, you start to spend less and save more. First of all, like you make different decisions. You're going to be less of a consumer and more of a spender. So you don't care so much about the newest thing, but you care more about stacking sets. And
it's-
I know a lot of people that always wanted to spend their money on the next thing and this and that and this and that. And as soon as they start to understand Bitcoin, they're stopping their behavior. They're not doing that anymore. And no one tells them to do that. It is just the mindset of having something that is maybe going up in value compared to prices that always go up, right? Money of fiat money going down. So just seeing that is already like I see it with so many people. I don't own a lot of things anymore. Like when I was always interested, I want to buy a new drone. I wanted to buy this new iPhone. No, I don't have that anymore. I don't need stuff. I'm fine with what I have. I think long term, minimal. I have my security. I can bring my wealth or my property and my digital money with me, and it's fine.
yes, and it is important that the people can understand it. And even the world need more people like you, and even your team. My first Bitcoin for the education can be in a global way. For the people can understand how can use it, and even in long term, and even they can save money for they can buy things in the future. So it's important all of this education, and it's amazing that you can teach all the people around the world this amazing ecosystems, right? So
Yes.
I want invited all the people for our next event. It is in 12 September this
Hmm.
year here in Medellin for Arnold. I think that Arnold will come for enjoy this event because it's an event about collaboration, Satoshi team with my first Bitcoin, and it is
Yes.
about of these people in the ecosystem, is about educators, is about all the people that is this ecosystem is for the people that want to learn and even entering this new world, Bitcoin, right? So I want to
Mm.
invite all the people for this next event. So
Yes.
Arnold, thank you for
Maybe can I
uh,
add to that? Yes, because I've been at 8 unconferences so far because I was organizing them in the past. So we had many in all places over the world, in the US, El Salvador, Portugal, Canada. And this
wow.
year we organized it with communities. So we did one here in Kenya. And now we do it also with Satoshi Team in Colombia. So it's really
Mhm.
excited to see how we can collaborate on bringing education to everyone, and it's going to be non-commercial event, so you can just come and learn. There is nothing that we try to put into your throat. I think it's going to be very accessible. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Yes.
Yes, so un conference event will be here in Medellin, and Arnold used tell us that will be around the world too. So you can enjoy my first Bitcoin for all of these events for education Bitcoin, right? So Arnold, thank you so much for being here, for share with with us your experience even with all audiences. Thank you for being here. And that's it. If you want to say
You're
something
welcome.
to the public, go ahead.
Yes, I would say muchas gracias. My Spanish is not
Oh,
good enough to do it in
yo,
Spanish, but this is like something that I know. So thank you for doing this in English. Thank you for having me. It's always good to chat, especially with Bitcoin educators that know the diploma, the intro course, and our team. So keep up the good work. Keep spreading Bitcoin education. Doing it on the ground in Colombia. So yeah, thank you for having me and keep supporting you from far away.
yes. So, people, please Enjoy us and follow satoshiteam.com and My First Bitcoin. See you in the next episode, Píldora Naranja. See you, Arnold. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.